We've all heard the old adage, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Today, we're going to dive into that, as well as talking about what you can take from those chosen 5 people that will absolutely level up your life, your business, your goals, and everything that is and defines you this year. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook. This one is so important to me. I am so excited to bring it to you both on the podcast and YouTube. If you are interested in sharing this video with anybody, please do so. I absolutely love getting the word out. It doesn't have to be a real estate agent, just somebody who's an entrepreneur or anything like that. I would love for you to share that. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments below. But let's get into it. Okay, so we've all heard you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. This hit me smack dab in the face when I decided to leave my dad's brokerage, top 5 producing agent out of 1,200 agents, and level up with the Wolfpack. This instantly put me into a group of high-performing individuals in which I call some of my best friends today. And it wasn't, that I don't want my old friends or I don't, spend time with them as well. It's just the average of the 5 people I communicate with and spend the most time with needed to be at a higher level. And, I was always the guy that was like, okay, Jeremy's doing great and, kind of bringing people along. And that was really cool and awesome. And I still have great relationships that, absolutely support my business and do everything in my favor. However, it wasn't until I joined the Wolfpack when I was like, okay, now all of a sudden I am a smaller fish in a bigger pond. Not to mention I'm still not at the top of the production ranks. I'm still not a leader and all the things. But when you surround yourself with high performing individuals that, consistently level up their businesses, their lives, their personal lives, their family lives, and everything around that, it definitely takes a toll. And it's not always, what it looks like. My sponsor, Louis Galt, was absolutely not someone that I thought I was going to come in and learn a ton about life and real estate from, because we were kind of even. We were both high producers. We were doing a lot of things. We were both family guys. But that is one of the most important relationships in my life right now because he absolutely holds me to a standard, right? He makes me realize that it's not about chasing the next deal. It's not about always doing that. It's about this is how you actually have to be present with your family, right? And not that I wasn't or anything like that, but putting that focus on it has absolutely changed and enriched my life that I had no idea that was coming. Just by being in the room with some of these higher performing individuals or even performing individuals that had higher goals and aspirations was absolutely a game changer for me. And you say, well, I have a coaching client right now and we just did this exercise this last week and we're talking about it. And she was saying, okay, like these are my 5 people. We were talking about it kind of in the context of the SOS model. George Bryant, if you're interested in that, check that video out. It's amazing. Just search SOS model George Bryant, you'll come up with it. But she was going through the people that she spends the most time with. And I asked her, I said, of those people, who is moving your needle forward? Who is helping you and inspiring you to level up? And she had 2 people circled and crossed off 3, I believe. And so when we did that exercise, then I kind of dug deeper and I said, okay, now let's talk about this, right? Are those 5 people the 5 people that you could look at and say, okay, I'm going to call them and they're going to give me truth, right? We all have those supportive grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads, brothers, sisters, wives, husbands, all the things. But are they going to provide me with real time information, feedback that's going to help me level up? Are they going to call me on my bullshit when it's, an excuse or when I'm just, trying to avoid something? And that's super important. So as we kind of step back from this and we really look at the psychology, why does this happen, right? It wasn't like I was joining these people and I was pulling these people in because I needed to level up. I felt like I was really good. I was a top producing agent. I, was coming to this model and there's all kinds of things that we can go into there. But why did it change? And it's really just the proximity, right? I am one of the most high, competitors, so to speak. I don't even know if that's a word, in the in my space, right? I always want to win. I always want to do this. And I felt like I was like, okay, like I'm playing this game and I'm always trying to level up and trying to win, but sometimes I'm not inspired. Sometimes I just want to go, take a whole weekend off and, screw off and drink some beers and do the thing. And it's not that I don't do that anymore, but I try and really limit that time period. And so as I made this shift, it was just the psychology behind it, right? It was no longer a Monday through Friday kind of gig. It's like, hey, let's meet on Saturday. Hey, what are you doing on Sunday? Because all of these high-performing individuals have such full schedules and they're working on all aspects, right? They're working on, family, body, balance, being, all the things. And as we kind of continue to stir the pot, I was like, whoa, there's like a whole nother level of dedication. Right? I feel like the real estate industry came pretty easy to me. I like people. I like, bringing as many people on as, I can be. I'm an extrovert. And I have a wide, range of people, all different, kinds and, different things. And I started to look at, okay, this person's like my, relaxing buddy. This person's my college football buddy, and as you kind of organize those people out and you're basically associating with people where you can have those high level conversations, I was like, well, why can't we do this in life? And I started to really focus and really build relationships with those 5 people that I felt were my core and that were going to help me move forward. And so that's the next part of, this meeting as I was going through this with my coaching client. And we were talking about it, and eventually we came to, I think just one of the people that was on her original 5 list is actually one of her top 5 that she wanted to have moving forward. And again, like these are family members sometimes. So it's not, okay, you're not in my top 5, peace out. No, it's just how you manage those relationships, right? One person in particular was somebody she would get on the phone with and have 2-hour-long conversations that would be not only energy draining, but time draining. And so she said, okay, this is it. And I said, now look at those people and tell me what core values that they emulate. And it was a light bulb moment. And it was like, okay, well, if I'm trying to get to here, right? We actually started with a vision and, we don't have to go into the whole coaching concept. If you're interested in coaching, definitely book a call with me. I am looking to kind of build a higher level coaching opportunity for agents that do want to level up in the next year or so, and we'll probably launch that at the beginning of next year. But we were looking at that and we were saying, okay, these are the 5 people. What core values remind me of them? Do they emulate? And do I want to put as part of my business, right? And if you really dissect and figure out who those core 5 are, and you make an effort, right? This is somebody that you make an effort to make sure that you're getting together as much as possible if you're in the same state or communicating on Zoom or phone, however you communicate is fine. But take these 5 people, build those core values. And now when you have these core values, usually about 5 to 10, there's all kinds of books about core values. So we're not going to go into that. But if you have that connection, and then all of a sudden your core values are the driving force between every single decision that you make, then you see this triangle kind of forming of support, leveling up, inspiration, and it's just magical. So understand that if we start to really dial in, okay, let's really think about these core 5 people, and then let's make sure they're the right people. Let's choose them. Let's make sure that, they're in our model. And then we got the core values. And the cool part is it's almost like a triangle here where, okay, like something happened, a general decision. We make thousands and thousands of choices and decisions every single day, every single hour. And so if we have that and we can always go to our core values, okay, what do our core values say? And, it's just the day-to-day decisions, and we can make those decisions based on our core values that associate with the top 5 people we want to, surround ourselves with, then that's great. But the next piece is what happens if, it's an emergency, chaos. Well, then we can just go direct to the source because we know that those people are aligning with the core values, which is how we want to build our business and build our lives. And so that's an absolutely, light bulb moment for a lot of people. is if we kind of build this system and process for this part. One of the most important parts of my career, my successful career, was this next level, right? 8.5 years in, crushing production, needed something more, didn't want to be a team lead and take everybody's money and, leverage people's time so that I could go do my thing and just sit back and relax. I didn't want to be a broker because you wear so many hats and there's so much stress and not a lot of money involved in that, and no exit strategy. But then you have this decision EXP, I tell people all the time, is a vehicle, right? If you know how to drive it, it's absolutely life-changing. And so I plugged into people that knew how to drive it. And now I can drive it, and that's fine. But you don't have to choose EXP. This is not that. This is about the people that you want to emulate, that you want to surround yourself with, build those core values out, and then have a basis for every choice, every decision. And then sometimes it's like, well, should I go work out or should I go sit on the couch and watch the game? That is absolutely where you need to get to. Again, I want you to hear me say that this isn't about never having any free time and never, taking a breath and always, hustle culture. That's not what we're talking about here. It actually will limit your hustle culture because you have the answers already in front of you. And if you don't, you have these people that you can connect with. And so that is my, light bulb moment myself, is just understanding that if you build all of this in a system and it becomes a holistic model on how you live your life, it absolutely is life-changing. And so it's not just the average you surround yourself with. It's not just the average 5 people. It is an entire ecosystem of support, direction, and inspiration. So I hope that helps. If you liked what I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm putting stuff out like this all the time, as well as real estate specific things that I am doing to absolutely level my business up, regardless of what the industry is doing. So go get yourself a win today, and we'll talk to you next time.